Hey everyone, welcome to Security 101. Really excited to be here. My name's Kyle. I'm here because I love security and I love teaching people, in the hackathon environment. So I am also one of the founders of Hackathon Mentors. You can find me at KST123ABC on most things. So we're going to jump right into it here. Keep in mind your security goals throughout this presentation. This security presentation is obviously through my experiences with security and my understanding of security. It might not match kind of what you know or what you've heard, and that's okay. I hope you find these like valuable nuggets in this talk that will hopefully get you either more interested in security, maybe give you some direction or trajectory for your career, and maybe kind of help kindle that interest and light that spark. So you might be wondering, I'm just going to answer some questions that people ask me most of the time when they find out I'm a security professional. Mostly questions from technologists. They ask me, what does it take? What does it take to become a software, hacker? And it takes a lot. You got to read a lot of research, read a lot of vulnerability reports, maybe pen test reports, right? You got to understand a lot of these very technical concepts and these advanced technologies, intricate technologies. And I also think you got to talk a lot. You got to talk about your findings. You got to work through it with other people. It really helps you understand your content better, and you'll learn worlds from other people. It's a whole nother world, right? When you talk to another person. So definitely read a lot and talk a lot. Those are the most important tips I can give you. And this is a quote from a CEO, and I think it's really important, and I'm going to explain why. Just kind of this mindset. So he says, doing security while at scale requires a mix of law, psychology, sociology, technology, and organizational sciences. So it seems like, security requires a lot of things, and that is true. It is a holistic practice. There isn't just some code you write and you're like, okay, now everything's secure, right? So it is holistic, it is procedural, there are policies, there are controls, right? Security controls. And I think this quote kind of captures that security is a lot of different things coming together to kind of create something complex, right? Here's another one from another CEO of a tech company. So security practitioners can cover policy and law, while others can build large-scale distributed systems, find security flaws, or focus on finding the evil, right? So the bad thing that is somewhere where it shouldn't be, right? The feature that is accessible to somebody it shouldn't be accessible to, or the technology that is accessible to somebody it shouldn't be accessible to. So this is kind of, I think, a really, really interesting take. As you can see, these are very different quotes, but the one thing that they do have in common is they both understand that security is very complex and very vast, and it's more of like a trench than a pond, right? You see something on the top, and there's something entirely different all the way at the bottom, and completely different landscape. So there are lots of things that go into making security, function. So I think that's, these are some really good quotes to keep in mind, right? There are lots of different things you can do with security. It's not just one size fits all, shoebox. Um, so reading a lot. I love reading. I love reading books. If you don't like reading books, you should just take classes and take them with the same sort of content. I'll show you some classes you can take. So there's a lot of stuff that you can learn. Some of the stuff, the hacker stuff, there's network protocols, network security, right, forensics, imaging drives, understanding, what's happened on drives from forensics data, malware analysis, right, reverse engineering malware, understanding how malware works, understanding, how to exploit vulnerabilities in systems, so penetration testing. And I think the most important thing, if you don't have any of these, you can still be a hacker if you have a desire to learn by doing. So if you're willing to just jump in and get your hands dirty and just start working on something, then I think any of these topics will come naturally to you. And these books are just recommendations. This is a good starting point for people, I think. I've personally read the Practical Malware Analysis book front to back. You'll hear people refer to that as the Alien book. If you want to get your hands dirty with some practical malware samples, they'll give you real, viruses that you can take apart and understand how they work and reverse engineer them and their challenges, and it's a great book. So there's also programming and scripting, right? So you can learn about Python, shell scripting, HTML and CSS, JavaScript, right? So these are all languages that will help you, and they will obviously give you a better idea of how to exploit these systems. So if you know how to, write in one of these languages as a developer would, then you know how to exploit what developers make with that code. So that's very, very beneficial, and that's an important skill to have in your handbook as a hacker is programming and scripting. Operating systems are also extremely important. You know, we know Windows, we know Linux, we know OS X. I put Windows and Linux here because what you're mostly concerned about as a hacker is the management of these systems, how to manage these systems, right? How to remotely send commands to them, how to, you know, realize what services are running on them, how to do this and that, right? How to interface with them, how to, you know, control them, manipulate them. So we're not really interested in OS X for that reason. And the industry isn't. So if you're going to, you know, work in enterprise security engineering position, application security engineer, these are the operating systems you want to worry about. So what are some good resources to start learning about cybersecurity is a question I get asked all the time, and I'm really happy to answer that question. Everybody who knows me knows that. Here is one of my favorite resources. It's SANS Cyber Aces. Like I said, if you're not a fan of reading, just take these courses. You know, they are, you know, it is reading intensive. You're gonna have to read a bit, but they're great lessons. They're really, really great lessons. And if you're really just, you want to get to the technical stuff, you want to understand how to do PowerShell, you want to understand how to do this and that, and understand network protocols, there's no better resource than SANS. And I'd recommend doing this 100 times because, you know, you'll definitely get something great from it. So this is going to help you mold those skills and fine tune those skills that, you know, it costs thousands of dollars. A SANS class costs thousands of dollars, just being realistic. And this stuff is all given to you for free. So if you ever meet someone from SANS, pat them on the back and say thank you. That's a really, really great resource. And now we're going to talk about what I do, which is talk a lot. You know, there are clubs, there are meetups online, right? There's CTFs, so you can do CTFs with your friends, and there are company events. So, you know, the clubs and meetings are kind of really, really great to like meet other people and talk about what you've been working on, share ideas, get some feedback. Maybe you'll even get a career out of it, right? CTFs, same thing. You can get a career out of doing CTFs. Just, you know, do CTFs. CTF time will give you a schedule. CTF 101 is like an intro to CTFs, and Hacker 101 is also like an intro to CTFs. We're going to talk about this more later. But that's the path you're going to want to go down if you want to be a bug bounty hunter. And, you know, kind of work through bounty programs with HackerOne or somebody like that, like BugCrowd. There are also company-wide events. You know, Uber is a good example of this. Uber has a really big security division, and actually they have a security at Uber public meeting, and those public meetings are great. They are very valuable. You learn a lot about the technology Uber's put in place and the open source stuff that they're putting, you know, back out into the world in terms of security and security frameworks. They've done lots of great work there. So I definitely recommend checking those out. They're in major cities around the globe. I've been to the one in Manhattan. It's pretty awesome. You know, the office is in like an old like rail car station. It's really neat. So some of you might be saying, and this is, you know, I'm basing this all off of questions that I hear from hackers and things hackers tell me. So, you know, they're like, Kyle, I don't need these resources. I don't need to learn how to code. I know how to code. I know how to do shell scripting. I know network protocols. I'm a lead dev. So what I say to that lead dev is become a bounty hunter, right? Put those skills to use and maybe make a quick buck out of it. So hunting takes patience. Maybe not the quickest buck you've ever made, but it's definitely going to be one of the most rewarding ones, and I'm going to explain that a little more. So, you know, being a bug bounty hunter requires a lot of practice. So, even if you are like, I'm a great developer, you should still go through SANS Cyber Aces. Even if you're a great developer and you went through a college level computer science program, there are going to be concepts in here that you're not going to understand. Maybe you don't know about the data link. Maybe you don't know about the network layer. Maybe you don't know about the session application layer. Maybe you don't know about cookies or tokens. Or you should take this class. Maybe you don't know about automating, you know, systems, right? Infrastructure. You should take this class. Even if you're a software engineer, I can't stress this enough. If you know the theory and you know how to code and all of that, it doesn't really matter. You should know the protocols. You should know how the internet works at a lower fundamental level if you want to be a hacker. Even more practice, just practice more. CTF 101, like I said, beginner CTF, babies for CTF. You know, there's some easy ones, medium, hard. You have some forensics exercises. You have some cryptography exercises. You have mobile security, web app security, and secure coding practices. So I definitely recommend checking that out. It's going to give you a great understanding of what CTF programs look like, what these challenges are going to look like, and maybe if you want to be a bug bounty hunter or not, right? If you have a knack for that or not. So I definitely recommend checking this out, 100%. All right, so now we're going to talk about Hacker 101. Hacker 101 is a CTF that is entirely hosted online, and it's basically a way for you to test your skills against tons of different challenges and different scenarios. They have different setups for you to try, and basically, you know, they'll spin up an instance for you to attack and try to find the flag, and once you find the flag, you submit it in the Hacker 101 platform, and you get some points. And then you got to do the next ones, and you'll get invited to private bug bounty programs after you show your stuff through the CTF. Definitely do this one if you're trying to be a bug bounty hunter. Lots of lots of bug bounty hunters now work at HackerOne, and it's really great to see the community kind of like rise through the ranks like that and have an impact and kind of give back to the program. So there is a way for you to give back as a hacker, and give back to the community and make a huge impact and help influence new hackers. So a really great way for you to apply what you learned is to try this out, and this is the OWASP Juice Shop. And the OWASP Juice Shop is actually a online e-commerce platform which you can spin up just from their GitHub. You can just automatically spin up in a Heroku instance with one click. And what it is it's a platform for you to test against. It's reliably insecure, and the reason for that is there's a scoreboard, and you basically get to try out all these cool advanced exploits, and then you get points for them. And that is stored on your instance. There's no like online leaderboard or anything like that, but it's a fun way to learn all these cool advanced exploits. They're constantly adding to it, and maybe you can even add to it. So the reason I say that is because OWASP stands for the Open Web Application Security Project, and that is a way for you to give back. So you can give back by contributing to this project even, right? Just with some code, you can say, oh, there's this new cool CVE that has to do with JSON parsing. I'm going to implement that into maybe the order export, form in the OWASP Juice Shop. And that's totally something you could create and make and push back, and the community would benefit from, and, they would work with the exploit that you've embedded. So, let's talk about giving back a little more. So, things that you can do obviously include, helping people out through CTFs and creating guides and videos like this one for people to, try awesome exploits and teach people about vulnerabilities. So give back, talk about what you're creating, talk about what you're making. If you're making, a security forensics tool for maybe open source it. People can help you with it. People can get help from you with it. So I think that's a really, really great way to give back is, just whatever we're learning, whatever we're creating, let's put it back out there, right? And that's what tons of companies do it, tons of these organizations do it. And it's, the security community is unique in the sense that, people want to talk about what they're working on, people want to share it with you, and I'm not the type of person to, cover my screen and say, oh, don't look at, what I'm working on. Even at a CTF, I'll be like, oh, I'm working on this, this, and this. I'm not giving away answers, but I want to like talk to people, right? And this is a great community, and it's a great community to do that, and a great community to give back to. It's really rewarding, helping somebody pop that shell, helping somebody, perform their first exploit. It's really, really rewarding. So definitely, if you see this video and it helps you in any way, try to give back to somebody, further down the line, maybe when you've toned in on your skills a bit and you're really trying to make an impact. This is one of my favorite parts. Choose your fighter. So basically, there are lots of opportunities in the security world. We all know this, and I've bolded some of the most in-demand opportunities for you. So these opportunities routinely go unfulfilled. There aren't enough qualified people. You could be a pen tester, a network security engineer, application security engineer, cloud security engineer. The list goes on and on. This isn't even an entire list. This is as much as I could fit on here. So yeah, definitely look into these. I hope that you can take a look at this list, kind of look at what we've talked about today. Maybe you can hone in on like what you want to select and what you want to do, and maybe where you want to be in the future, and kind of reverse engineer that process, right? So we take the position and maybe look at the requirements for those positions, and then work your way backwards to achieve those using the materials I provided you today. I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, definitely feel free to leave a comment, reach out to me personally at any of these, comment on the video. Any way you want to reach out is totally fine. That's my tag for like everything, and then that's my email address. So this has been really great. I hope you'll come to some events in the future, some hackathons. Definitely feel free to reach out to me or the Hackathon Mentors team at any time. If there's more security related content that you want to see in the world, definitely let us know. I'd love to make more security content for y'all. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and happy hacking.